Hi everyone, hope everyone is well. This evening I am playing Marengo 1800, part of the Victis series of Jours de Gloire games. There are 4 battles in this particular game. I played the other 3 on my channel, but realised that I'd never covered Marengo, so I thought what better time than to fix that. Now I've got the game set up on the table, so let's have a look. So here we've got the scenario set up, ready to play. Just a few things I want to call out. So we've got our French units here, here, and over there. And then for the Austrians, not too many units to start with, just here and there. Now the French, should they retreat, they are retreating off to the board that way. And the Austrians just to there, off to the board that way. What else is there worth calling out? In terms of the direction, so north is upwards, which is handy, east, southwest, etc. In terms of the objectives, there's a few. So for the let's have a look. For the French and Austrians, 5 victory points for controlling 0105, which is that hex just there, and 3414, which I'm going to say my sight's looking, which is over here, just there on just that one there, and by the end of the game, and it's 10 victory points worth there. Now for the French only, the Marengo itself, which is 10-11, which is here, which is why I've put that no order, the counter there, just to remind myself of the objective there. And that's 3 victory points. And then this hex here is worth 1, I think. 1, yeah. And there's 1 each, so those 2 worth 1 each as well. So you can see the French have already got, if they can keep hold of these, then they've got some victory points there. And then for the Austrians only, they've got 2, 3, 1, 6, which should be that one, yep. So they get victory points if they can control that hex. And these 2 hexes here. So as you can see, basically the French need to hold this area here, hold that victory hex over there. The Austrians need to hold this one, and then push through and grab these 3. And of course, if they can prevent the French from taking theirs and vice versa. So there's quite a lot of opportunities for gaining those victory points in this particular scenario, which is really exciting. There are significant reinforcements, so this is just the starting. Looking at the reinforcements, we've got, pretty much the 8 o'clock turn, which is the second turn, 9:20, which is the third, Bonaparte himself on 9:20, and then 10:40, which is the 4th turn. We've got some French. I should say there's quite a significant Austrians, and the 8 o'clock and the first couple of turns basically, significant Austrian. And then there's a bit of a lull, and then there's some more, in particular French, coming in around 10:40, and then 2:40 in the afternoon, finally 4 o'clock. Number of turns looks to be 12 turns. If you're not familiar with the game, it's a chit activation, or chit pull game, I should say. So with each of these are going to have a number of chits, and you pull them from a cup, etc., etc. So even though there's 12 turns is not a small amount of each of these formations can activate maybe twice, for example. So it does take a little bit of play through. I think I've got everything set up. I've got all the reinforcements worked out. Looks like I'm ready to start. I just want to check So the scenario starts on June 14th with the 0800 turn. So actually starts turn number 2. I think that's because I wonder why they put a prior turn to that then. Last 10 turns. Sorry, my apologies. 10 turns through to the 8 o'clock turn. So through to turn number 11. I'm pointing off camera, no use to you at all. So basically, yeah, it's a little bit less. So it's a full 10 turn scenario, but like I said, each formation will have multiple activations. And there are more formations that will come onto the board, especially in the first couple of turns. So yeah, I'm going to make a start. So what I'll do, like I do normally with these, I'll play through a turn and then I'll stop and do a pieced video and explain what's happening, how the battle's shaping up. Probably move the camera around, zoom in a little bit on some of the action, and sort of describe from a narrative point of view how the battle is unfolding, plus any specific game mechanics that I want to draw attention to. So I shall make a start with the first turn. I'm pretty sure the French will have initiative. I will double check that, but I would imagine so. Well, we'll make a start. Just trying to see if I can see who's got initiative, but I will check that before we start. There are some special rules of the deployment of the Austrian army. I'm just skimming through, so I need to double check that as it's the very first turn. So, yeah, I shall make a start. Now that was a quite exciting first turn. So, the Austrians brought their units in, and they actually did get the first initial initiative, so they were able to activate quite a few units before the French could do anything. And they've managed to push the French out from this road here. However, these French, this stack here, which is in like a farm just there, they've been able to hold on valiantly against the oncoming Austrians, which is wonderful for them. But the Austrians have pushed the French back quite significantly. However, the French have been able to move some of their units up and have moved into Marengo itself, just there. So that looks quite well defended for the time being. And then conversely, also I should say, the French have started to move some of their units here. They were finally able to activate them because Napoleon has not entered the battle yet. They don't start the scenario with the ability to have any orders. So that's you have to get good dice rolls to be able to activate the units. And the Austrians here have a bunch of units that are making their way through down this river. And they've got some more coming up in the next turn. So the Austrian plan is to try and surround this, open this road basically. They need to open this road here, move some units down here, and then across here, and then try again, bring units round to this side of Marengo, and hopefully that'll open the door for them and stop the French from holding on to. And the French are just holding on here, and they need to keep an eye on this one as well. And then for the Austrians, I've marked up with some white wooden cubes type, well, no circles, but white markers, just to remind myself of the Austrian objectives as well, which we're playing for today. Yeah, brilliant turn. It just flows really, really nicely. So next turn, it looks like Napoleon. I'll double check. It looks like Napoleon will be able to enter the battlefield. It's going to be quite interesting to see how the Austrians really need to push hard. They really need some good results here, because if the French can just hold them back here, it's going to make life much harder for them. And the French need to be able to move up their units to be able to reinforce and move maybe some units here just to defend these objectives. We'll see. Next turn. Now at the end of the 9:20 turn, there's been a huge amount of fighting in this area here, and the Austrians have been able to push the French back, and significant fighting on the north side of Marengo itself between both sides, horse charging into infantry, etc. Now the French have unfortunately lost a few units from this formation here as a result of that, but they have countered back and held their line really well. I would say push their enemy back a bit. I'm not entirely sure that's true. And the Austrians are bringing up their reinforcements down this road. There's quite a bit of congestion here, as you can see. But they have been able to move this formation here, sort of to the southwest of Marengo. And this these units here are in open units, so prime target for this cavalry here, this horse. And of course, if they can get the artillery and foot, this is difficult ground here, so just need to check how they can move across the stream. That's the stream, that's the river. And then the French on this side, on the south side, are bringing up some reinforcements here. So there'll be quite a lot of drama and narrative happening in this area. On the north side, just off camera, it's just off camera, we've got a couple of French units here, and their job is just to hold that far north. There's some roads here. If the enemy can get it, that would be bad for the French. So quite a lot of drama, quite a lot of narrative happening, which is absolutely fantastic. It is Napoleon's now. He is on the battlefield, so he'll start to be able to issue orders, probably only to this formation as he moves up. But these French here are doing incredibly well, holding back the Austrians. It's a race really to see if the French can reinforce Marengo or lose it and try and stop their enemy from moving across the map. We'll see. So next turn is the 10:40 hours in the morning, and I just need to check the reinforcements, etc. There are quite a few chits going into the cup now, so it's taking a little bit longer to do it every turn, but it's still very manageable. So we'll do that turn next. So at the end of that turn, which is turn number 3, which was just tell you the exact time, the 10:40 turn. It's quite a maelstrom of combat around Marengo itself. The Austrians are having a real push, but were pushed back by this French cavalry or horse units that were there. Part of this formation, they managed to charge in and eliminate off the game the Austrian horse and so forth. And the French here have been able to bring up some reinforcements. These are French reinforcements. This formation here have engaged the Prussians. Some Prussians, I keep calling them that. The Austrians, and pushing them back. And here the Austrians have got quite a lot of, a sort of a jam sort of situation where they're trying to move their units down through this road, but just not quick enough. So the French are consolidating, or just about hanging on. There is a lot of combat and a lot of moving around, backwards and forwards between the two sides, and predominantly around the Marengo area itself. But the French have been able to successfully reinforce Marengo by some bold horse cavalry attacks from the north, where the French bringing their cavalry up to the north and bringing them then back down south along this road, or on this trail, sorry, I should say, into the combat was very decisive. They got the dice rolls that they needed, and it paid out big time. French do have a unit that's routing, and there are some units that have been taken off the board. So it could go either way still at the minute, to be honest. Although the French have done well. I think at one point in that turn, I thought, it looks like the Austrians are gonna take Marengo, and that will be the start of the defeat, I felt. But now I think it's maybe a little bit different. I think the French have been done very well to hang on. So now the next turn is 12 o'clock. So we're midday. Let's just have a look at the reinforcements at 12 o'clock. Nothing too major. A couple of French activation markers to go in the cup. Now the cup is now getting quite full with activation markers. It's definitely taken quite a bit longer to get through a turn. We don't have everything on the board yet. There are some more French. Really, it's more French reinforcements now at the 2:40 in the afternoon. Hopefully, there's no reason that they won't be able to come onto the board. So the Austrians really need to make the maximum use. They've got some good units though, some good units in these stacks here. So we'll get on with it. So I've just finished the 12 o'clock turn. That was be turn 4 in this playthrough, and there's so much fighting and combat around Marengo, pushing from both sides. The Austrians had a really good push. They managed to move up quite a few units. and have pushed the French really hard. The French just about holding on. The French have moved up this formation here just to help support, but this formation here is taking a right battering. Conversely though, the French have pushed, constantly repelled the attacks from the Austrians. Now, to keep the game dynamic and interesting things happening in the narrative, I've started to move up French units up to the north again along this trail network here, and the idea is that the Austrians will do the same. So they're breaking off some units now to move to the north, and whoever can win this north section here will then be able to come down and reinforce. So if the Austrians win, they'll be able to come down and attack Marengo from the north, and if the French win, then they can push into the Austrian lines. The same is also quite true from this southwest area here. The French definitely have secured that. The Austrians pushed very hard. The French were able to hold it and then push them back. So this French line here looks very healthy. We have managed to bring on all the Austrian units now as reinforcements. There's still a bit of congestion hitting in this area here, but hopefully they'll free up and in the next sort of turn to be able to move some of these. There's some very good cavalry units here for the Austrians. So hopefully, and I think what we'll do, we'll bring this formation directly into the battle or the south. We'll bring this formation and this formation here, sorry, and these up into the north, and we'll see how that works out. So the Austrians give everything they can to try and break Marengo. The French doing an absolutely fantastic job of holding Marengo. Now then, at the end of the 5th turn, as you can see, we've got a lot of both Austrian and French counters all around Marengo. Still no great breakthrough. The French did try and use their cavalry to charge a stack, and to no avail, were repulsed by the Austrians. The Austrians moving into better positions, ready for a massive attack. If they can bring these units in and create a line against the French line with both artillery and foot, then they may stand a chance of breaking through, somehow hoping to break through this area here, allowing the door open to the south. Now on the north side, Prussians are moving up a lot of units. They have pushed some of the French horse back, and are making good progress on this trail here. However, the French have reinforced into these hexes here with this formation here, which the Austrians are probably going to find difficult to break through. But we'll see. So it's shaping up really nicely for the sort of the middle section, or middle and later section of the battle. Still quite a lot of drama yet to be had. Just can't push the Austrians just can't push on the Marengo. These French defences just too strong for them. Basically haven't been able to get the dice rolls that they needed. Definitely so far in the game, for the most part, I would say the dice has been going in the favour of the French. The odd exception, of course. Just need to move that order counter. So I shall tidy up and get ready for the next turn. And I just need to make sure there could be some reinforcements, I think, in the next turn. And I've made a note of some special rules, so I shall check those out before playing. So now at the end of that turn, the Prussians have been unsuccessful in still trying to break through to Marengo on this part of the battlefield. They've had a good push, but the French were able to push them back, and as you can see, they've pulled back to try and rally some of the units here and here before they can have another crack, and here before they can have another crack at trying to take Marengo head on. They've also been fairly unsuccessful in attacking from the south, or this side, the sort of western and southwestern side of Marengo. Nearly managed to break through, but again the French managed just to push them back, although the French have got some routed units here. Now on the north side, also these units here, this formation here, quite strong, but amazing. You got the worst dice results possible, and were unsuccessful in pushing the French back. However, this horse unit here charged one of the French units and was able to push that back. So they have sort of started to open the door. However, these French units here, I think, are going to keep that door firmly closed. I think these Austrian units are just going to run into these French units, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to break through. We'll see. So at the minute, it feels like the French are valiantly holding on to their objectives and containing the Prussian the Austrian advancements, and the Austrians are yet to be able to break through the French lines as much as they would like, although they have given it a really good try. We are next turn is the 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So looking forward to seeing if the Austrians can progress, or if the French can just hold on. Now, at the end of that turn, the Austrians are really going to have a hard time of it. They haven't been able to rally all the necessary units, so they haven't really been able to attack Marengo itself and this line of French. And the same applies on the north side. So both these two areas here, as it were, the battlefield, not really working for them. However, they have pushed through the centre with a bold charge of horse, which did incredibly well, and this centre section here is now more open. However, as you can see on the very top here, the French have some additional units from this same formation coming into the battle, so they will now move and try and close that gap there. I think the battle is definitely swinging or moving in the favour of the French. I have played defensively with the French. These units here, I don't know if you can just see, they are actually behind the stream. I am denied whether the French these units here could probably leave Marengo or leave the line. I'd leave some at Marengo Hex itself and push the Austrians, and maybe even the same with the north. I might do that maybe in the last turn, just hypothetically, to see what happens. But the French, I think, will be able to plug this gap here, because at the end of the day, it's just two. There's two units there and a unit there of horse. Without the support of foot and artillery, it's hard to see how they're going to be able to hold that open long enough. But we'll see. You never know in a game like this. So, the next turn, let me just have a look at the board. The next turn is 5:20. So we're getting sort of towards the evening or the later part of the day now. Now, that was quite an unexpected turn of events. The Austrians pushed really hard at Marengo and were able to take it with this units there, having taken Marengo and pushed the French out. To be fair, it was because they got the chip pull that they needed, and they got the dice that they needed as well, the dice roll. It was a bit of a long shot, but they had to try something and take Marengo before the end of the day, and they have been successful and pushed the French out. Now, the French can respond. They do have, even though this unit is disordered, they can hopefully rally some of these troops and maybe push the Austrians back. They have managed to rally, etc., and they've got some units, etc. The French have also, to keep that north flank secure, they have formed up here to secure the north so that they will stop the Austrians pushing down the north and then moving around. And of course, they have the west well defended as well. So basically, what the French need to do now is see if they can rally some of these troops and get them back into good order, and then have a crack at pushing the Austrians back for a change here. Hold this at the north and hold this on the west. And the Austrians are going to have a crack at see if they can break through the French on the north there. If they can do that, they'll certainly open up the route that ideally they would be looking for. This here is going to be quite hard for them to break through, even though they've got some units here. I don't think they're quite capable enough, but we'll see. They'll certainly have a go. And they've got artillery, of course, which can be the deciding factor. So yeah, it's quite eventful. I was not expecting that. I thought the French would just hold on to Marengo, but not to be. So next turn is We're starting to get towards sort of early evening, so 6:40 in the late afternoon, and I'll go through and play. There's only 2 more turns left, so we're going to see if the French can retake Marengo, see if they can get it back. We'll see. Now that was another eventful turn. So the Austrians have been able to hold on to Marengo, but only just. The French have pushed them back across the stream there, but they still have some units in Marengo itself. And the west side is firmly closed to them. The French have also done a good job of being able to hold on to the north from Marengo up through here as well. And they've been able to hold the Austrians back and on occasion push them back here as well. So at the minute, as the line goes down, it's in favour of the French. And in itself, around Marengo, I think the French got some good units, but the actual hex itself of Marengo is still being continued to be held by the Austrians. So the Austrians need to try. Their numbers are dwindling. It is the last turn, and it's going to be really, really fun to see if the Austrians can just hold on to Marengo. I don't think there's any chance of them knocking the French back at the top north side of the map there. And I think this centre bit is in. I don't think there's any chance of them doing anything significant here. So it's just a bit of the last turn just to see if the Austrians can hold Marengo or not. Or can the French take it back? Looking at the units, got 2 good units here, another good unit there. That's some artillery. If they get the activations and the right dice, I think the French could take it back. We'll see. Now at the end of the game, the end of the last turn, we're all finished up and the Austrians have Marengo. French valiantly try to take it back, but push back at every opportunity. The Austrians were able to defend the hex, push these units here back, and the same here on this side as well. So well done the Austrians for capturing Marengo and holding on to it until the very last. No matter what Napoleon threw at Marengo, couldn't take it back. On the north side though, the French definitely controlled this middle section here and very much controlled the top end. The Austrians just unable to break through on that north section there. The French also really controlled the whole game, I feel, this side of the map here, the west and the sort of southwest of Marengo as well. So, yeah, it was a great game. In terms of the victory points, technically, I think the French won because they were able to hold on to these hexes here. That was just off map. And I didn't really, as the Austrians, push to try and get the other objectives that the Austrians could have done. To be fair, I'm not sure the opportunities would have presented themselves, as the Austrians couldn't really break through Marengo. Whilst they captured it, they didn't have time to break through onto the main road here, and neither were they able to really push through the centre. But when I play solo, I'm a lot less concerned about victory points, more playing for the drama and the narrative, and plenty of that in today's game. So I'll just finish with some concluding thoughts. Well, that was a really exciting game. I do really love this series of Napoleonic games. And in that particular battle, there's lots of drama on both sides, lots of events, lots of narrative taking part. So it's a brilliant game for solo play. One of the reasons I think this game series is so good for solitaire is that it uses a chit pull activation. So you're pulling formation chits out of a cup and you're then activating those formations. You have to give them orders, so sometimes you have to roll to see if they can receive orders, etc. That was a really great game this evening. I really enjoyed it. One of the great things about doing this channel is that it gives me opportunity to look back on videos that I'd played through and remember those particular games. So extremely memorable. Now, if you have played this series of games or that scenario in particular, please leave a comment in the comment section. If you want to learn more about this game, please leave a comment in the comments section and I'll try and answer any questions you may have. But thanks a lot for watching, as always, and take care. Thank you.